Hi, I'm Xan Barth, a veteran teacher, mentor, and mom, and I'm here to share with you what I believe are the most important skills that your kindergartner can bring with him or her on the first day of school. When you need advice, I'm the teacher in your corner. It might surprise you to find that most primary teachers would prefer that parents focus on what I would call the soft skills, as opposed to academics when their children are headed to school. In this and future videos, I'll give you some examples of these skills and ideas on how to build them. And don't worry, we'll hit the academics in future videos, so don't forget to like and subscribe when we're done here. Let's talk readiness. Think of the new demands and challenges your child will encounter the first time they walk into that classroom. They've got a whole new community of learners to learn how to interact with. Don't you think that they should have the skills to do so before they get there? The kindergarten teacher has a plan to introduce all of the skills that your child will need to know. But first, we have to train those little eyes and ears. How do we do that? First, have your child practice listening attentively. Acknowledge and praise them when they do. It's a good idea to have them sit on a designated spot while you read aloud to them. Their typical attention span at this age is only about 5 minutes, so you can practice this in short bursts throughout your day. Play school with your child. Encourage what I call star listening. Eyes front, ears listening, mouth closed, hands in your lap, bottom on the floor or chair. You can practice listening skills by giving multi-step directions that are fun to do, like jump up and down, clap your hands, and turn in a circle. Remember to acknowledge and praise when they get it right. If your child is struggling, you can support them as needed by having them repeat the directions back to you or perhaps doing them along with your child. Another important skill is listening and turn taking. In games, we get to practice this and have fun at the same time. They also need to learn how to do this in conversations. One thing I would suggest is to sit down with your family as you're having dinner. Tell your child, we're going to go around the table and ask everyone what their favorite food or animal is and try to remember what everybody said. Show how proud you are of your child when he or she waits patiently for their turn. That's the important part. I can't say this enough. Remember to celebrate their growth and their progress. These are new skills for some of these little ones. The next big hurdle that kids face as they're coming into school for the first time is independence, with dressing, toileting, problem solving, going about their day without asking for help as often as they do at home when they're the star of the show. Putting on jackets, for example, doesn't take very long when there's just one child, but when you have a whole class full of children who need help with zippers and sleeves, that can take 5 to 10 minutes out of your recess time. Help your teacher with this one. If your child has an accident, they need to be able to change themselves and get cleaned up as independently as possible. I encourage students in my classroom to keep a bag of extra clothes on hand in case there is an accident. When they're able to grab that bag and take care of things independently, it can be so empowering and it can take away a lot of anxiety and fear about going to school on their own. When it comes to clothing and bathroom issues, teachers are generally not allowed to help. We do not expect perfection, and we understand that these little children have only been alive for 5 years. We just want them to do their best. One way you can help is by teaching bathroom manners. Skills such as knocking before entering, closing the door when using the bathroom, washing hands thoroughly, and leaving the area as nice as they found it will make a big difference when they go to school. This is also a great time to teach your child that nobody should be with them in the bathroom. You would be surprised how many kindergartners think that this is a group activity. A final note on independence. You can help set your child up for success in the classroom by teaching them to solve problems as independently as possible, to try some things on their own before seeking out the teacher for assistance. To practice this, when your kindergartner has a problem and comes to you for assistance, ask them what they think some good solutions might be. Have them choose one to try it out, even if you know it's probably not the best one. Eventually, your child will become more skilled with exploring solutions independently and will be able to come up with effective solutions for problems all on their own. And as always, sing their praises when they come up with solutions and send them on their way to try them. It won't take long at all for them to become independent thinkers and problem solvers. Another fun skill to practice is using classroom tools correctly and independently. If your child is holding a pencil like this or like this, try breaking that pencil. You'll quickly notice that their grasp will be forced into something more akin to a tripod grasp, which is the correct grasp. Model for your child how the pencil should be held and actually move their fingers into position if needed. It does not have to be perfect. A lot of people are not confident with doing this because a lot of us have our own weird grasp. Make sure they also know that there will be safety rules in the classroom and that pencils are not tools, they are not darts, and for heaven's sake, please ask them not to bite the erasers off. An interesting thing that we've noticed as teachers over the last several years is that children aren't practicing coloring as much, so they come in with weaker fine motor skills. If your child is struggling with their grasp, again, break those crayons. I know it's the first day of school and they're so pretty and they smell so good, but you have to break them to force their little fingers to do this instead of this. It's amazing what this minor adjustment will do for their grasp. You can see in this video as Ellie is coloring, she starts off with the wrong grasp. But when we give her a shorter crayon, without even trying, she switches to a more effective way of holding the crayon. Color with your child as often as possible. It's a fun practice for them. It's very relaxing for you, and it's some of that quality time that has a great end result. Stronger little fingers. Now, you may have your scissors up high in your home to avoid any of those surprise haircuts that we see on the internet all the time. But please bring them down 3 or 4 times a week so that your little one can practice cutting. Make sure they're keeping the cutting hand in place, but using the other hand to guide the paper to get the direction. You will see this elbow come up. Just give them a soft tap to keep it down. That will result in better control over their materials. When your child is just beginning with their cutting skills, have them practice cutting Play-Doh or putty. This helps those little muscles work harder and get stronger. They can move on to cardstock or construction paper when they've mastered the Play-Doh and putty. And finally, they can cut regular printer paper. Next, let's move on to social skills. Does your child know how to join in an activity or how to invite others to play? These are all skills that will serve him or her well when they come to kindergarten. There's so much to learn and so many people that they want to get to know. Let's equip them with the skills to do that. You can practice this out on the playground, at a sports activity, pretty much anywhere there are other kids who they don't already know. Honestly, this one's usually a no-brainer, but stay involved with your child while they're out there playing. Help them watch for the child who doesn't have anyone to play with and talk through what that might feel like. How can we help? Teaching empathy now will help our whole culture do better. It all starts at home. That brings us to our next topic, manners. Model and use the words please, thank you, and excuse me at every opportunity. This is how we show respect. This is how we tell people we care about them. This is how you make your teacher love your child. More children than ever are beginning their request with I want instead of may I please. This subtle shift demonstrates humility and respect for the person being spoken to. Also, teaching children the art of apologizing now while they're young and impressionable will be much easier than later on when they're surly teenagers. You can practice with your child through role play, with puppets, with Barbies, with friends, pretty much any time. Notice that I do not ask the child being apologized to say, it's okay, but rather I ask them to forgive and state what they would have preferred to happen. Whether they need to be more careful next time or please don't do that again, they need to tell what the replacement behavior should be. Finally, have your child practice using their language to express their wants and needs as opposed to kicking, screaming, whining, or throwing things. Kindergarten teachers see it all, so there's probably no judgment there, but we do want to have growth in this area, and you can help a lot by noticing progress. Using their words is best practiced before or after an emotional moment. It is almost impossible for kids to learn when they're in the midst of an emotional storm, just like a lot of us. So take the time to reflect after your child is calmed down and talk about things that he or she could have done better and make a plan for what they will do the next time. Remember, you can always prompt or model correct responses, but don't dwell on it so long that noncompliance is added to the mix. Your child will get their needs and wants met more effectively at school when they have mastered the skill of calmly expressing their feelings. Notice I haven't discussed academics at all in this video. That's not to say that it's not useful to have some letters, sounds, and number sense to bring to the table. However, in my opinion, that ranks far behind the things we've talked about. It may surprise you to know that kindergarten teachers typically spend between 2 and 4 weeks on procedures alone before really introducing any new academic content. That's because this has to be in place before anything else can happen. Having the skills we've talked about here will set them up for success in a way that will help them throughout their entire school career, and life for that matter. Everything you need to know you learn in kindergarten. Now I know that some of your little ones are ready to rock and roll with their reading and their math and their writing, and I have some big plans for you. So I'd love for you to like, subscribe, and keep an eye on this channel for more content that will show you how to support those skills when your child is ready. I am the teacher in your corner.